Okay, welcome. I think everything is going well in terms of my streaming. So I want to share with you some more thoughts about this upcoming planetary conjunction, cluster conjunction, and solar eclipse that is going to be happening this December 25th or 26th, depending on where you live. So this is very significant because this December 25th, 26th is associated with the winter solstice. So the winter solstice is the time of the year when we really are shifting into the next year. The new year really begins the day after the solstice. So I don't know the exact date of the solstice this year, but it's very significant that this is lining up on what is, in much of the world, seen as the winter solstice for 2019. Now, what is extremely significant about this one is that the south node of the moon, Ketu, is having a huge, huge impact on this solstice. So I'm going to amend some things that I said, I believe it was 2016. 2016, we had a similar scenario going on. This was in September, I believe, and it was a solar eclipse that was happening in Leo, and that one was being controlled by the north node of the moon, Rahu. So this is being controlled by the south node of the moon, not only because the south node of the moon is where it's all happening, but the planets that are clustering together, three of the six of them, I believe, if I see this right, three of the six of the planets that are clustering together are going to be in a star constellation which is called Mula in Vedic. And Mula represents the root, and it is literally the center of our galaxy. So, of course, the planets themselves aren't going to be in the center of the galaxy. But from our perspective on Earth, they're going to be lined up with the exact location of the center of our galaxy. So Rahu is the concealer. That's the north node of the moon. Rahu is the concealer. He brings smoke. He brings confusion. He brings deception. And so when he comes in, now I'm realizing, looking back, what's happening. I was saying that what was going to happen in 2016 is that everything was going to be revealed. Now I'm realizing that I spoke too soon, because Rahu was actually in charge of that, and Rahu is the concealer. And so what happened is, from then until now, we have had people in the United States, in control of the government of the United States, who have been concealing the truth, who have been acting from deception. So it's not just happening in the United States, of course, it's happening all over the world. But now what's happened is we've gone all the way around, and now Ketu, the south node of the moon, who is the revealer. If Rahu is the concealer, Ketu is the revealer. Rahu and Ketu are two sides of the same coin. Rahu and Ketu represent the karmic nodes that bring us into manifestation. So Rahu represents your desires, your ambitions, your delusions, having everything to do with this three-dimensional reality being an illusion. Doesn't mean it's false. I got to be clear about that. It's not false. You are really here, and you really are interacting with other things, other beings. You are living in real places, but it is an illusion to the extent that there is something beyond it. Ketu, the south node of the moon, says, I want to go beyond the impermanence. of three-dimensional reality. I wanted to get to the infinite truth, which is emptiness. The infinite truth of everything is pure emptiness. So even your existence, from KETU'S perspective, is illusion. So this solar eclipse is going to be extremely strongly influenced by KETU, not only because KETU is with the rest of the planets when this is happening, but the star constellation that KETU, Moon, Sun, and Mercury will be in is the nakshatra of Mula. Mula means the root, and it means the root of the center of the galaxy. From our perspective, the entire universe, because our universe really is our galaxy, the entire universe is ruled by the center of our galaxy. If you want to know where God lives, that's where God lives. He lives in the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. And in the center of that galaxy is a supermassive black hole. And that's what we're lining up with. So Mula, the nakshatra that is at the center of our galaxy, or points towards the center of our galaxy, represents that emptiness. That emptiness that is not empty, but is actually filled with pure power, pure potential. If you were to go, like if you were, when you go to a black hole, you get squished into tiny pieces and torn apart. And nothing in that emptiness can exist. So if you exist, you have a mind, you have a body, you have an identity. It means that you live in a specific, limited expression of infinity. That's what you are. That's what everything is. That's my glasses, the trees outside, everything. Everything is a limited expression of infinity. And so if you were to go into that place of emptiness, you'd be torn to pieces, because you have to be infinite in order to exist there. So this infinity of emptiness is now completely lined up with all of us. So the reason why eclipses have such a strong impact is because the sun represents the soul. So your deepest identity is your soul, and the sun represents that. And so when we have an eclipse occurs, what ends up happening is that our identity gets clouded over. This is why a lot of people flip out during these kinds of things. I mean, there have been times when I've watched various eclipses, and I can feel, if it's the moon. For me, the moon I'm very sensitive to the moon, so I get panicky. I remember watching it happen, thinking, "Oh, that's cool," and then this sense of panic came over me. That's because it was clouding over the moon. So for the sun, it's even more intense, because the sun is your soul. And so depending on what school of, we're talking Vedic Hinduism, the Vishnu worshippers will tell you, go inside, pull down all the shades, don't let that light touch you, do prayers, protect yourself. So that's one way of doing it, but that's not my preferred way. The other way is to go in the opposite direction, which is to celebrate it. Because what ends up happening whenever you have a solar eclipse is you get, your hard drive gets wiped. And what happens is that whatever's going on with that, that's going to set the tone at least for the next year, if not longer. So for the past 4 years, we have been living under a cloud of illusion, because in 2016 we had a solar eclipse that was in Leo, and it created a very elusive atmosphere that we've been living in. KETU is the opposite of Rahu. The north node is illusion. KETU is ultimate truth, which is emptiness, nothingness. And so this is what we're experiencing. So what has been happening is that we're getting ready for this 6-planet pileup in the sign of Sagittarius. As it is right now, we don't. I think we only have 4. Right now, we only have 4 planets. We have right now in Sagittarius we have Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, and Ketu. So what has been happening, because they've been there for a little while, what has been happening is that all of the things associated with these planets have been strongly affected by the, if you want to call him death, you can. Ketu is also represents death, being taken out of the body. So that's why I chose this picture here, because the true Grim Reaper isn't a skeleton inside of a cloak. There's nothing in there. So what's looking at you is emptiness, and Ketu has no head. So I like this because you're looking into his cloak and there's no head there, there's no face there. That's Ketu. Ketu has no face, meaning he has no identity. And this is what is happening right now, is our identity is being shaken to its very core, the root. The Mula Nakshatra, where Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Ketu, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Ketu are going to be sitting in Mula Nakshatra, which represents the roots, which again is the center of our galaxy, which from our perspective is the center of our universe. And whenever something goes through this, very oftentimes Mula represents ripping things out by the roots, getting to the emptiness. And when you rip things out by the roots, it creates a hole in the soil, which then you plant new seeds into. So this is what's happening right now. So right now we have been experiencing Jupiter, which is your spirituality, your understanding of religion, your understanding of whatever your spirituality has been shaken, or you have been brought down to this understanding of the only thing that matters is commitment to the infinity of nothingness. You may have that kind of a feeling. Saturn, which represents your karma. So this is now the time you may be feeling a lot of stress. In fact, I know myself included, but I can think of other people who are going through unbelievable stress where, normally they're functioning, they can't get out of bed because the intensity of the karmic weight on them is so intense, they can't function. Which means that the ways that you normally sidestep your karmic issues, the way that you normally lie to yourself to deal with life and other people, if there are ways in which you are not being truly authentic, truly operating, or if there are things within you that you haven't faced, this is being shaken very strongly because we're going to the root of emptiness. So that emptiness is trying to get rid of everything that's false. So that includes emotional issues, psychological issues, addictions, habits, things that you deal with, but that you need to get rid of. When these are associated very strongly, like deep childhood issues, you have childhood trauma. Do you have trauma from past relationships? Have you been victimized? This is going to be shaken. You're going to be shaken to your very core if that hasn't already happened to you. And so that's because Saturn is now at the root and wants to pull out from the roots those things, psychological, emotional issues that are not serving you. If you don't listen to that, it's very important that you listen to what is happening. You're being told you've got a last chance now to fix this. You've got a last chance to go get sober, go see a therapist, go to temple and dedicate yourself, do your spiritual work, do your meditation. You're being given a last chance. This is the feeling that a lot of people are going to have. So Venus is in there as well. Venus is pleasure and relationships. So your relationships may be shaken to their very root. It's possible that relationships might just completely fall apart if they're built on something false. If they have a mixture of false and true things within it, then the things that are false are going to threaten to destroy the relationship, and you have to get real with yourself and your partner, otherwise, you may lose that relationship. What's going to happen by the time December 25th gets here, then the intellect, which is Mercury, is going to enter into the sign of Sagittarius. It won't be in the sign of, I don't believe it'll be in Mula. And the sun, which is the soul, is also going to come in. So you're going to have this general experience in the sign of Sagittarius of Ketu, which represents your desire to leave this world, Jupiter, which represents your spiritual beliefs, your spirituality, Saturn, which represents your karma, not only the karma that you have to pay, but the karma of what you need to do to accomplish in this world, things that you've wanted to accomplish in this world. So what will happen is there may be a renewed sense of, you know what, I have to get my act together because I need to leave my mark on this world, what I came here to do. You may have this desire to get deeply involved in some kind of action, whether that's, activism or spiritual work or giving to others. This may be stimulated. And then Venus, which is relationships, as we said, the intellect. You're going to have a hard time thinking things through because your intellect is all about, which is Mercury, is all about navigating this false world. And when you come to the realization that this world is completely false, your mind, meaning your intellect, has nothing to grab onto. So you may be confused. You may not know what anything means. Or you may feel it's useless. Philosophy is useless. There's no point in thinking about anything because it's all meaningless. And then sun, which is the soul, your very identity, it could be shaken as well. Now, all of this is going to depend upon your astrological placement and all of that. For some of us, it'll be more challenging than others. For me, it's been extremely challenging. This past couple of months especially has been one of the most challenging experiences of my life. Just for all the things that I've been talking about. So if you want to find out what's going on with your chart, you can go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. Bear in mind, I'm talking about Vedic astrology, not Western. Western astrology is a completely different calculation, which if you talk to me, I'm going to tell you it's an inaccurate calculation. I wouldn't even bother with it. A lot of people are going to have different opinions about that. But that's the reason why I follow Vedic astrology, because the calculation is actually accurate to the light that's hitting you. Western astrology hasn't been accurate for 2,000 years. Okay, so those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. I'm happy to take any questions as they come up. We've got 21 people on here. So if you're new to the channel, what I want you to ask a question. And by doing that, you write the word question. And then you write your question. Make sure it's well thought out. Make sure it's respectful. I cannot guarantee how I'm going to respond. I tend to respond directly to things that I think are nonsense or garbage, and any trolls will get banned. Sometimes that just makes people shut up and nobody asks questions. I do want you to ask questions if you want to. So I don't see, I do see a question here. Alekia Patra, you must be new to the channel. Please ask the word question. There's nobody on there. But the reason is if you don't do that, then I have to scroll through all the non-questions and I may miss a question. So you're asking, oh, does that mean other galaxies have different God than ours? You mean our God only created the Milky Way? I don't mean that. You have to listen to what I say. I am very specific with the words that I use. What I said was, from our perspective, God, I used, quotation marks, is the center of our galaxy. So I didn't say anything else. I just said from our perspective. As far as we're concerned, the giant massive black hole at the center of our galaxy is, from our experience, the creator of our universe. So I meant exactly what I said. I didn't mean anything else other than that. All right, so I don't see any questions here. And what I'm going to do then, if I don't have questions and I don't have anything to say, then you get to hear me sell you stuff. So what I am going to talk about is that right now I am a brand new service I've just started, which is distance energy healing. And I've been asked for a long time by people to do distance healing. And for those of you who know the practice that I do, you'll understand why I have waited. Because the practice that I've done is very similar to the kind of energy that we're talking about. It's a cleansing energy. I was trained in an esoteric Taoist path, which was called spirit fighting by my teachers. And it's a very high level, very powerful energy that goes in. And these guys would go in and fight ghosts and demons with their bare hands. This is the kind of energy that they had. They wouldn't sit and pray. They'd actually go and take their energy and slice the demons apart, driving them out. And so that's that kind of an energy. It has a high cleansing healing. It will get rid of all kinds of garbage in your aura and in your life. So what I'm going to do with these distance energy empowerments is that I'm going to clean your aura and clean your space of any negativity. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean the 5 elements: ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Wood, metal, fire, water, and earth. I'm going to go in and clean out, which is connected to the 5 organs of the body: the liver, the lungs, the heart, the kidneys, and the stomach. Then I'm going to purify the 3 centers: the higher self, the middle self, and the lower self. So that when all 3 of these selves are connected, that's when you have the ability to function like a true human, which is a very high level being. You are destined to be that. Then I'm going to do a meditation where I'm going to scan the rest of your aura and your body and look for any other blocks within you. So this may be a very intense experience. You may not have any experience, but for that, if you want to get, whoops. All right, are we still going? Okay, so if you want to take advantage of that, then you can go to energyhealing.thunderwizard.com. Okay. All right, so let's check and see if there are any more questions here. Alekia Patra, please tell me, how can I control my emotions? So Alekia, you're new to the channel, right? First thing I want to tell you is that I want to encourage you to watch my videos so that you know what I teach. So I'm going to answer your question, not in the way probably that you want. There is no need for you to control anything. Your desire to control your emotions is actually a desire to escape them. And trying to escape your emotions is incredibly destructive. What we need to do as humans is have all of our feelings. Experience all of them, no matter how frightening, no matter how difficult, no matter how challenging, and then have the awareness and the strength to take positive, constructive action. So what you really need is not to control your emotions. What you need is to be able to tolerate your emotions and then have the trust in the universe, the empowerment within yourself so that you can take positive action. The other thing is, if your emotions need controlling, it means that there's something going on inside of you that needs to be dealt with. So, me telling you how to control your emotions may not solve your problem. This is why people are on drugs. This is why people go and get medication from psychiatrists who give them drugs to control their emotions. This is why people smoke weed, do drugs, drink, get addicted to video games, sex, porn. These are all ways to try and control your emotions. It's very unhealthy. So what you need to do is learn how to have your feelings, not try and control them. For me to be able to help you any deeper, you'd probably need to get a session with me, and I'd have to ask you some questions to find out what is the root of why you have all of these emotions. Okay? But in order to do that, you'd have to get a session from me. That's what all these links up here are for. By the way, anybody watching, these links are here for a reason. Don't contact me and ask me, how can I get a session with you? How much does it cost to get an astrology reading? Go to these links. They're all there to tell you exactly why what all that stuff is. Okay? Koya Moon question. Do you have a good meditation I can do to get clarity on my purpose? Yeah, I do. I have so many different passions and it hinders me from focusing on one to really master. So, Koya Moon, I don't know, again, if you've been on my channel for a while, but I talk a lot about finding your soul desire. So very easily what you want to do is go to courses.thunderwizard.com, which you can find right there, courses.thunderwizard.com. Go look for my books. And in my books, you want to look for The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. It's a long title. Just look for the one that says Perfect Life on it. That will tell you how to focus on the one thing that is most important to you. In terms of a meditation, there's tons of meditations I can give you. But until you know exactly what it is, the meditation may not be helpful to you. If you are unable to simply go within and find out what is the one thing that my soul wants to do, then that means that you probably have, some conflict. And if you have conflict, then you're going to need my help. So let me put this back up here again. So if you go to neo.thunderwizard.com, the first of the 4 tools that are there, the first one is called Find Your Perfect Career. Go on that page and scroll all the way to the bottom, and at the bottom you will see that there is a link for you to purchase a one-on-one session with me for career consultation. Takes me about an hour. I got to ask you a bunch of questions, and then I can determine with you exactly what that one thing is. And then I can tell you how to achieve that. But you're asking me, I don't know you, I don't know anything about you, and you're asking me, to just throw a magic pill at you, but you're an individual. You're a human being. Whatever is causing the conflict where you can't choose is happening on a deep unconscious level, and I have to get in there and dig around to find it. So I can't just give it to you here. You might be able to get it if you go to get that book. Find my books at courses.thunderwizard.com and get the Secret Shamanic Commandment to a Perfect Life. That may solve the problem for you. If not, get a career consultation with me, and then we can find out together what's going on. Okay? Chelsea Dines question. If my Aruda Lagna is in the 11th house along with my moon in Cancer, so you're a Pisces. No, you're an Aries. In Vedic astrology. Hope I worded correctly. Does that mean others want to see me as a nurturer? So for those of you who aren't clear on what we're talking about, the Aruta Lagna, let's see, astrology.thunderwizard.com, you can go there and I'll talk a little bit about the Aruta. The Aruta Lagna is the reflection of your identity. So you were born into this world and you have your own experience of yourself. Most of us, if not all of us, spend all of our lives trying to show people who we think we are. And this will only end up with you feeling isolated and alone. In some cases, it may actually end up making you feel or actually be rejected by people. Because people don't see you as you see yourself. People see you the way light reflects off of you. And everybody has their own special gift that is given to them from past lives that they reflect out into the world. It is your job to be that reflection. If you spend all your time trying to show others who you think you are, they're not seeing that. They're only seeing the reflection that comes off of you. And if you're showing something different than that, they're going to be unconsciously stimulated to block your success. Because from their perspective, they don't trust you. They think you're not being authentic. See, they can't see who you really are. They can only see the gift that's coming off of you. So this is oftentimes called the reflection. So you have a reflection that is not you. And this is what the Aruta Lagna is. When you know what your Aruta Lagna is, when you know what your reflection is, then you know how to present yourself. I'm dressed in my Aruta right now. My Aruta is the warrior protector, the warrior shaman. So I'm sitting here with my, I've worked out this week. I've got my sleeveless shirt on. I've got my shamanic necklaces, the bald head. This is how people want to see me. When I present myself this way, people feel comfortable. They like me. They want to give me money. They want to buy my services. If I try to present myself differently, which I did for many years, if I try and hide the warrior aspect, I think that I'm being meek and unassuming and safe to be around, when in actuality, when I hide, I end up looking like a serial killer. And that's because your Aruta will either be shined brightly if you own it, or you will be showing the dark side of it and you will frighten people or turn them off. So that's why it's so important to know what your Aruta is. So now, to get to Koya's question, or Chelsea's question. If my Aruta Lagna is in the 11th house, along with my moon in Cancer, does that mean others want to see me as a nurturer? Absolutely. The 11th house is a house of networking. So they not only see you as a nurturer, they see you as a networker. They see you as somebody who communicates to vast people. The 11th house, one of the significations of the 11th house is social media, YouTube, things like that. Now, without looking at your chart, I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know what aspects and what other conjunctions and things like that are going on. But if you've calculated correctly and your Aruta Lagna is moon in Cancer in the 11th house, they see you as a mother. They see you as a healer that heals, a lot of people. This will get stronger as you get older. That's kind of a challenging position for the moon, because the moon, the 11th house is kind of an intense house. But the 11th house is the house of your gains, your success that you have worked for in this life. So this moon in Cancer is something you need to work towards being. Not only should you show it to the world, but you need to work towards it. So they see you as somebody that is working hard, and they see you as being very successful as a result of this. So hopefully I answered your question. All right, I don't see any questions at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the light because it's getting a little dark in here. And I am going to talk to you about the most powerful energy practice that I know of, which is the root of the energy distance healing that I talked about earlier. And so you can get started. You can actually practice some of the same things that I learned, which I wasn't supposed to share with anybody, and I'm sharing it openly to the world. So I'm breaking the rules on that one. In fact, not only me making this teaching, I got kicked out of the sect. My teacher got so upset about it, he cut off all communication with me. That gives you an idea how powerful this stuff is. So we'll talk about that when I come back. If there are any other questions, I'll take them. If not, I'll see if I have anything left to say. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com, and this is Celestial Negong Part 1. Celestial Negong means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers. You're looking within yourself. This is Neko. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang-Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang-Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang-Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid, energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. Coming in July of 2009. 10 years ago. That was me 10 years ago. Now, I have to say, I think I look and feel a lot better than I did back then. I was in a marriage that was not going anywhere, and I was not a very happy guy in a lot of ways. Although I did get a lot of work done. All right, so that energy, by the way, in that you heard me talk about the Shang-Qing. The Shang-Qing Taoist sect was the original sect from which all of the other Taoist sects came from. And the mountain that they lived on was called Mao Mountain. And that mountain was the first mountain. Let's see. Okay. And that first mountain had all of the teachings, and all the rest of the Taoist mountains learned from them. They later became so feared because they had so much power that those other mountains, those other Taoist sects that learned from them, started calling them sorcerers and black magicians because they were so intimidated and frightened by the intensity of their power and their energy. So the Shang-Qing is the highest heaven. So this is where the energy is coming from that does this kind of cleansing. And again, if you're interested in getting a cleansing, go to energyhealing.thunderwizard.com and learn more about that. And the response has been very welcome and surprising. I'm getting a lot of people ordering. So what ends up happening is that I can only do one cleansing a day, and so that means that whenever you sign up, you're going to be dealt with. I'll do your cleansing in the order that it comes, which means the earlier you get one, the sooner you will have do your cleansing. Having said that, for those people that order a cleansing empowerment, I give you immediately some instructions that you can actually begin doing on a daily basis. It's something that you'll be doing in concert with my energy when I do it. But you can do this on a daily basis, and people have already got back to me and said they can feel it already just by following the instructions I give you. You can turn it into a daily hour meditation. That in and of itself would be worth what you're paying for the empowerment. When this cleansing service, if it starts to really take off, I'll probably have to raise my prices just to handle the demand. So just letting you know, about that. All right, so getting back to K2, this is what we're talking about with this K2 energy. You know, K2 represents destruction of anything having to do with illusion. Wherever K2 sits, K2 destroys. He nukes anything having to do with illusion. So whatever illusion you're holding on to right now, as we're heading towards December 25th, is going to be really shaken. So this is the time to release. What ended up happening to me, I've been spending the past 6 months, I've been in Australia. And I had to leave the country to get another visa. So I had to leave the country. I came over here. I'm in New Zealand right now. I'm going to be leaving in a day. But I came over here to apply for a new visa, which thankfully I got. And on the way over, an interesting thing happened. This has been such a challenging period for me. You know, I've just been dealing with my own illusions, my own self-deception on such an incredibly painful level that when I got on the plane, I was actually like, you know what, I'm done. On the plane over here. Sorry, it's red. Okay. On the plane over here, I was like, I'm done. You know, I don't need to be anything or do anything. If this plane crashes, you know, I'll be okay with that. Not that I'm looking forward to dying. I'm not suicidal or anything. Don't get me wrong. It's just that the thought of I can't see the future and I can't seem to think about, you know, is there anything left that I need to accomplish? And I don't. The only thing that's left is that I know that I have a lot of knowledge that I've gained over my life. I've all the things I thought I wanted to accomplish. You know, I wanted to be a big movie star. I was an actor. I had a theater company in Hollywood. I did TV and film here and there, and I was a musician for a while, and I've learned all kinds of stuff. And you know, I there was a point in time when I was practicing the spirit fighting Taoist practice where I wanted to become an immortal. I've since lost all of that. I've realized all of that is meaningless. What I've realized is that the only thing that has any significance in this life at all is love. Sorry, it was turned red. The only thing that has any significance in this life is love. And so, you know, if without that, nothing really else really matters, really. And so I found myself on the plane saying to the deity that I'm working with, you know what, if you want my life, it's yours. I wasn't doing a God, please take my life. I wasn't doing one of those things. I wasn't doing like the Christian born again. I give you my life, please save me. I wasn't doing that. I was just simply saying, you know, here's all the things that I've got in my life that I think are of value. I don't really know what to do with them anymore. If you want them, they're yours. And if you want to do something with me in my life, they're yours. That's a result of what's happening. Now I realize it's astrologically being pressured into me. Ketu sitting with Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. You know, the idea of pleasure. You know, there's really pleasure is great, but it's not ultimately fulfilling. Relationships. I've already had perfect love. You know, I had that, and she's left this world. Am I ever really going to have that again? Maybe, I don't know. But do I need to? No, I've had it already. I know what it felt like, and that's as good as it gets. In terms of spirituality, I have experienced power beyond anything I could have imagined, and even that didn't bring me ultimate satisfaction. You know, in fact, the teachers that I had were so powerful, and they could do things with their energy that you wouldn't believe if I told you. Okay, I'm having a hard time. It's red, and so it looks like we're still there. Anyway, and I achieved. I didn't achieve anything compared to my teachers, but I achieved huge amounts of power. There was a point in my life where you couldn't touch me. You know, I mean, you could, but you never knew what kind of energy was going to come out of me, and I had to be careful not to touch people, because sometimes I'd touch people and they'd fall down, go into trance, all kinds of weird things would happen. Um, and that was a result of training with this kind of power. And guess what? It didn't bring me ultimate satisfaction either. The only true satisfaction I've ever had in my life was when I had complete perfect love with another person. That's the only true satisfaction I've ever, complete satisfaction. The second closest is surfing. Third closest is energy work. So those of you who think that spirituality is going to fix all your problems, and if you can just get this and get the golden dragon body. In fact, I'm thinking of somebody right off the top of my head who's a master, high levels of energy, who ended up having to deal with a very serious illness. So it didn't prevent him. And I know this individual on a deep level I can sense is very unhappy. Okay, I'm looking at am I still connected? All right. So bottom line is, ultimately everything you think that's going to bring you happiness and make you happy, may not. Okay, just to let you know. All right, so now I'll check and see if there are any questions. Must be a lot of people online because I'm fading in and out here. So let's see here. Koya Moon question. If my Aruda is in 4th house with Mars, Moon, Saturn, I don't know what sign. I need to know what sign. My Aruda is in. Okay, so first off, you can't have an Aruda in the 4th house. I don't know where you got your chart done. You may have even got it done from me. I have changed my understanding about the Aruda. So the only way that somebody could tell you that your Aruda is in the 4th house is if it was actually in the 7th house. Because the rules according to ancient astrology is that the 1st house and the 7th house cannot be the Aruda. The 1st house can't be the Aruda, and I agree with that, because the Aruda is the reflection. So the 1st house can't be the reflection of itself. The reflection of the 1st house, the reflection, sorry, I'm looking for the green light again. The reflection of the 1st house is the 10th house. So the 7th house, they said, sorry, I may not be able to continue because I can see that the stream is getting interrupted. The 7th house is said to not be the Aruda because hang on. The 7th house is said not to be the Aruda because the 7th house is the reflection of the 1st. And so that is, when that happens in the past, they would say then the 10th from the 7th is your Aruda, which is the 4th. I don't believe the 4th is an Aruda anymore. I've changed my opinion on that. I do believe that the 7th can be an Aruda. So you telling me that your Aruda in the 4th house is inaccurate? I believe that your 7th house is the Aruda, so I'm not even going to answer the question because your Aruda, if you say it's the 4th, it means somebody saw it in the 7th and told you it was in the 4th. It's actually in the 7th. So go to your 7th house. That is your Aruda. Okay? Jameson Colliday. Question. When switching hemispheres on Earth, how does one celebrate the solstice? In line with the northern tradition, even though it is summer where I am? No. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean, people here, I'm in New Zealand now, people are celebrating Christmas. I'm actually really grateful that I'm in the southern hemisphere because it doesn't feel like Christmas to me. And so even though I see Christmas stuff going on, because I hate Christmas. Christmas was, for me growing up, Christmas was very sad. I grew up in a really dysfunctional home. So every Christmas, I feel horrible in the northern hemisphere. It's, when it gets dark and cold, that's where you go in and hang out with your friends and your family. And I basically have no friends and family, so I don't have anybody to hang out with. So that would be horrible. So I'm really glad that this isn't the winter solstice, it's the summer solstice. And so you can celebrate it however you want. But for me, I'm glad I'm down here because I don't have to celebrate Christmas. I get to miss that this year. So for me, it's actually the summer solstice, and that is a different kind of thing. That's self-expression. So how you do it is completely up to you. If you want to be accurate with what is happening, then you would celebrate the summer solstice, not the winter solstice, and you would do whatever is connected with that. Okay? All right, Alekia. All right, so Alekia, first off, again, let me remind you on this question and answer, I like it when people write the word question, because otherwise I may not look at your question, I may pass it up. So I know you're new to the channel, so you don't know. Second thing is, I'm not gonna, it takes me, a good hour to calculate somebody's chart. And just because you've given me your birth date doesn't mean that on this Q&A that I've got nothing better to do than do your entire chart. If you want me to look at your chart and look at your Aruda, you can go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. I would be happy to give you a reading. In fact, I'm giving 50% off of my readings through the month of December. Okay? So if you want a reading, either I or one of my apprentices will be happy to tell you what your Aruda is. But you're going to have to give the respect of actually going and paying for a reading so that we can do it justice. I'm not going to just snap my fingers and do it for you here, waste everybody else's time. All right? All right, I don't see any more questions at the moment. What else can we talk about? So let's just go through the links here. So here's the deal. If you don't ask me a question and I'm not talking, then I'm going to sell you stuff, because this is my living. This is what I do for a living. And if you want to learn how to enjoy doing whatever it is that you want, here's my mantra for money. My mantra for making money is this: make money doing what you would do anyway. How many people listening to me can say that? Can say that they make their entire living doing things that they would do in their spare time anyway. What ends up happening when you live like that is you never have to work, because you're always doing what you want to do. I would do this anyway. So for that, you can go to career.thunderwizard.com. There's a streaming course there that you can learn how to do that, or you can scroll to the bottom and you can get a session with me, and I'll teach you how to do that. Thunderwizard.com up at the top. This is the best way to support the channel, because this is at thunderwizard.com you can subscribe at differing levels. Now on that channel I don't even know how many, I think we're in the hundreds now. Hundreds of videos that you cannot get on this free channel. I teach a master shamanism course, and I go into detail in major things having to do with shamanism, ritual, energy work, runes, qigong, all that kind of stuff. How to get the gods to respond to you, how to get the universe to respond. That is in the Master Shamanism course. You can subscribe at the lowest levels for that. The Manifestation Mastery course at the next level, I'll teach you how to manifest your dreams and how to understand on a deep level, because sometimes it's just not enough to tell people, do this. You have to go deep. So this will allow you to go deep and go in and clean yourself out and learn how to do that. And then if you want to work with me on a regular basis, you want to work with me on a monthly basis or twice a month or even more, thunderwizard.com, you can subscribe and do that. Okay? And it's the best way to support the channel, because it's a monthly subscription. You can also just unsubscribe whenever you want. So go there, check that out. Qigong.thunderwizard.com, we already talked about. That has the Qigong that I do. And we have the energyhealing.thunderwizard.com, in case you want a distance healing. See, what is that? Energyhealing.thunderwizard.com. And then we have astrology.thunderwizard.com if you want an astrology reading. And let's see what else we got here. Neo.thunderwizard.com is the 4 tools that you need to get the universe to obey you. So go there to check that out. Courses.thunderwizard.com has everything. All of my books, all of my DVDs, all of my streaming videos, All of my services, astrology, rune readings, books, everything you can imagine is on courses.thunderwizard.com, except for the energy healing thing, which I have to put on there. Everything else is on there. All right? Okay, so now let's see. It looks like maybe we've got some questions here. Again, if you don't ask questions, I'm going to sell you stuff. And by the way, I will do it without any shame. I want to teach everybody. Part of the reason I do that is I want to teach you to be shameless about making money. I don't know what people have so many problems with the idea of making money that in really bad cases, they project it onto me, that I'm somehow this evil, superficial, horrible person because for the services that I provide that mean my time and energy, I charge you for my time and energy. Somehow that's evil or wrong, or I don't know where people get that idea. That tells me this is somebody who doesn't feel comfortable about making a living, and providing a service. I've got over 500 free videos and free meditations. If you took advantage of those, you'd never need to get anything from anybody. Why people don't take advantage of that and they want to complain about, I charge for something. Anyway, I want you to be able to do the same. I want you to be able to be proud of what it is that you give to the world and say, yes, my time is valuable, and get paid for it. So I want to be an example. So that's one of the reasons I'm constantly selling myself. Because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to be on here and talk and answer questions for free. Okay? All right, let's see. What else can we, what's going on here? Okay, question. The conclusion delayed at the last sentence. So to be accurate, you align yourself with the solstice where you are, in this case, the summer celebrations. Well, it's up to you. Yes. For me, I'm going to go ahead and stick with what's happening down here. This is the summer solstice, so I'm going to do things for me that are associated with that, which are freedom, self-expression. That's why I'm not talking about Christmas and all that, because that to me is a winter solstice thing. But you can do whatever the heck you want, whatever makes you happy. All right. Again, no more questions. So what else is there for us to talk about? I think I've talked about everything. How many people do we have on here? We got 20 people on here. Nobody's got a question. You can ask me about anything you want while you got me on here. If you don't ask a question, what ends up happening is I sell you stuff. And since the only thing I have to sell you is Celestial Qigong, I'm going to put that back up here. So ask some questions or I'm going to keep putting the same video up. Hi, I'm Michael Denny of SpiritTao.com, and this is Celestial Negong Part 1. Celestial Negong means that this is power that is descending from heaven. And the idea is that we are all microcosms of the entire universe. You are the entire universe, and everything around you is simply the projection. You are looking within yourself. So when you look up into the stars at night, you're actually looking deep within your own body. When you look at the sun, the moon, the trees, the flowers, you're looking within yourself. This is Negong. And so what we're doing is we're simply releasing that infinity from within us. You are tapping into and releasing the power that is within our own body, our own cells, our own organs. So one of the reasons that I'm making this DVD is in the hope that the essence and the spirit of the teaching of the Shang Qing arts can be taught to the world at large, and it is my hope that the core essence of what the Shang Qing tradition is will continue to live and grow and evolve. As we move on into the Aquarian age, everything is changing. I don't need to tell you that. The entire world is changing, and what we are seeing now is that if people hold on to external things, they are very challenged in life. And those who are making the transition into the next phase that we are moving into in the world as we approach 2012, those who look within and find their source of strength from within, those are the people who are getting the most out of life and will make the transition into the next phase of evolution most comfortably. It is my belief that the Shang Qing tradition is one method whereby human beings can evolve into the next level of being in the most comfortable fashion and be able to take advantage of the rapid, energetic, mental, and spiritual changes that are going on in the world today. All right, deja vu. All right, I'm still not seeing any questions here. So I wonder if is anybody still here? People are still there. No more questions. So I've got a question for you, which is a couple of people have asked if they can learn the distance empowerment, cleansing, healing that I do. And the short answer to that is, to learn the exact method that I'm using, you would have to train with me in person for years. But it got me thinking about being able to teach people an energy practice and a method that if you wanted to learn how to do that, if you wanted to learn how to do in-person and or distance healings in the way that I do it, I would be willing to come up with a course if you wanted to do that. So I'm willing to consider that. If there's enough demand for it, that might be an interesting, fun thing to do. So if you are interested in, and of course it's going to cost you money, you're going to have to pay for the course and all that, which means I got to spend a lot of time creating a bunch of videos and all that, so it's going to cost you money. But you could, if you have a knack for it, you may turn around and turn it into a business yourself if you want it. If you're interested in that, then I want you to write in the comments here. If you're watching this after it's gone live, I want you to put in the comments that you're interested in that course. So put in there that you want to learn the distance healing course. And if I get enough people who are interested in that, then I may take some pre-orders for that, and then that'll motivate me to make some videos, and we'll go ahead and put it together. But I tell you, things are going to change here. This new commitment that I have towards me really living my, the last third of my life, which I'm entering now, the last third of my life devoted to teaching and, living my practice. It's going to change some things. One of the things is I'm going to care a lot less about what people think. I already don't care a whole lot what people think, but I'm going to care even less about what people think. I'm going to care a lot less about what people say. I'm going to tell you the truth even more directly than I have. And I'm going to start teaching people more and more high-level stuff that I've since kept hidden out of respect for my teachers and out of a desire to, not expose people to stuff that might be too much. If you're not ready for some of this stuff, you can blow a circuit. You can go loopy. But these are going to be some of the changes that are coming, and I'm really feeling it as a result of this solar eclipse that's heading towards us. So anyway, let's take a look and see if there are any more questions here. Well, Koya Moon says that she does a distance energy healing for people, but she needs more guidance. Well, so, whenever you go and learn with somebody, you have to get rid of whatever it is you think you know. So if you've already got a practice, then you should go and learn with whomever taught you your practice. Go and study that if you need more guidance. Because if you learn with me, you're going to have to drop everything you think you know and start all over again. You know, martial arts, this is definitely true with martial arts. If you want to go and learn Wing Chun, you can't go in there and say, "Oh, I have a fifth degree black belt in Shotokan." They're going to say, "I don't care," because we're going to have you standing differently and punching differently and do it. You've got to learn completely over again. My one of my drum teachers, master drummer. I mean, this guy was, I mean, is just so crazy skilled. I mean, he could play any percussion instrument he wanted. And when he went to go learn, he was at school or something, and somebody said, "Oh, you can play with us," and he said, "No, I'm not gonna play your stuff." And they said, "Well, you'd be able to do it very easily." He says, "Yes, I know, but I haven't been trained in your tradition. I have to start all over again. I have to pretend like I don't know anything. I need you to tell me the basis of it." That was very smart of him. So that's true. I mean, you can't just begin, if you want guidance, that's one thing. If you want to learn my system, that's a whole other thing. So if you want that, let me know. But I can already tell you that what I'm going to teach you is going to be different than whatever it is that you've learned. Okay, she says I would absolutely sign up. Koya Moons, again, these, I normally don't do this. I don't engage in back and forth. If you don't ask a question, I normally don't respond. But she says, I need to make sure I'm managing my power correctly and not causing myself burnout. So right there, I already know there are problems. Because the way that I do my stuff, I never get burnt out. Because when I do a healing, I'm also empowering myself. So if you're burning yourself out, something is wrong. Here's what happens when you burn yourself out doing a healing. If you're burning yourself out, it means that you have an agenda. It means that you have, and see, are you the one that asked me about your Aruda being, let's go back to that. No, that was you. You had a different Aruda. You're not the person that had the 11th house Aruda. That tells me already that you've got some codependence in your life. I don't know you. You haven't told me anything about yourself, but I already know that you have codependence. I already know that most likely you grew up in a dysfunctional home. Maybe there was an alcoholic parent or something like that. The fact that you get burned out when you do energy healings means that you're not doing it, number one, for the right reason, because it is not your job to burn yourself out. And it means that you're not doing it with the right mentality. Because if you are burning yourself out, it means that you're giving away your energy. You're losing your energy. And if you're doing that, something's broken. At the very least, it means that you're coming from an unconscious, codependent issue. It means that you feel the need. You have a need to heal people. So you're that person in the room that you have to find out who needs something. You need to go fix them and help them. And so first thing that I would teach you is to get rid of that. You would have to work with me privately, but I would get rid of that. It is not your job to take care of anybody. Your only job is to make yourself happy. That's the first thing. So I can already tell there are some things that are wrong, or at the very least, whoever taught you or whatever you learned is wrong right off the bat. Any energy healing that you do that burns yourself out means you're doing something wrong. Okay, I could go on and on and on, but I need more information. Brian Heath, question. Okay, so the question means you're having a question. Let me see. You're telling me something. Is there really a question in there? I'm not seeing a question. I had a dream last night that makes me believe something dangerous is coming to my life. I was in a forest. It was spring. I was looking at an old mossy tree with a big white stone beside it. Without provocation, the wolf attacked me and started to rip strips of flesh from me. It's not a question. You're just telling me your dream. Do you have a question about that? Koya Moon is opening to start over. Okay, so again, I'm going to start looking for questions. I'm not seeing Um, yeah. Anyway, bottom line is still, if you get burned out, if you're getting burned out, something's wrong, and the problem's within you. There's something going on with you, and I would want to ask you all kinds of questions about how you got into it. I'd want to know about your family life, but you need to heal. You need to heal up and seal up your energy. So the first thing I'm going to recommend to you, Koya Moon, for free, is I'm going to recommend that you start working with the Thurisaj rune. Just start chanting that. I have an exercise here on the free channel where you can use the Thurisaj rune mudra mantra. And if you're really serious about it, then I would get the celestial qigong. So you can go to qigong.thunderwizard.com and start looking at that. But you got to start looking at, giving yourself away to people. I can already tell that you do that. Alekia Patra, question. I have my plans, I have my way. I'm not seeing a question. I have my plans, I have my way. I need to stay focused and keep fighting in my own way. But I'm getting overwhelmed by all kind of negative emotions at once. How to stay focused and get rid. Are you asking a question? There's a problem with what you just said. You just said, I am getting overwhelmed by all kind of negative emotions at once. But you said in the beginning, I have my plans, I have my way, I need to stay focused and keep fighting my own way. Well, obviously your own way isn't working because you're being overwhelmed by all kinds of negative emotions. So you might want to consider doing a different way. Maybe I'm wrong, but we might want to start with that. But anyways, you still haven't asked a question. Jameson Colliday. Okay, Brian, again, write the word question. Do I have any insight? No, I don't have any insight. I don't know enough about you. Dreams are one of three things in my experience. They are either your brain getting rid of all of the data that it has accumulated during the day. So, you're constantly recording everything into your subconscious mind, not your unconscious, your subconscious. You're constantly recording everything that you did. Like this morning, I got up and I went hiking in the rainforest up here, and then I did this and I did that. So all of that is in there. When you go to sleep, your brain sifts through all that and gets rid of the things you don't need. So, you're dreaming, you're walking through the forest, you're dreaming, you're doing this, and it's just your brain getting rid of stuff. Second one is you have an actual dream where you leave your body, you travel somewhere else, or you're visited by some spirit. This is rare. But those are real, like spiritual dreams with real messages. And the third and most common one is that your unconscious is either experiencing its fears or your narcissistic, selfish desires. Dreaming that you had sex with a supermodel is your narcissistic, selfish desire. Dreaming that a wolf came and tore you to pieces is more likely something having to do with your unconscious fears and psychological issues. Since I don't know you, I don't know what any of that means. But that's my thought. My thought is that this is something you need to talk to a counselor or a therapist about. Listen, I have a therapist. He's also a spiritual teacher and a master yogi and all that other stuff. But, I don't tell you to do something I myself don't do. That's what I see in that. People take their dreams way too seriously. People are far too narcissistic and wrapped up in themselves, especially our modern Western culture. People are, I'm not trying to attack you personally. It's just, people are so disconnected and fragmented, and psychologically there's just so much narcissism going on in our culture. People are just so wrapped up in their own experience. Every time somebody takes a photo and there's dust in it, they go, "Ooh, look, an orb." No, it's just dust. It wasn't a ghost, it was just dust on the lens. Anyway, so I think that's what it is. It's probably something that is representing itself as your fears, your something going on in your unconscious psychological issues. If I knew you and knew what was going on in your life, I might have some understanding. But if you want to tell me about the wolf and you want me to tell you the spirit of the wolf is coming to you, and it's probably not the case. I don't know. I'd have to know you better. Jameson Colliday question: how would you distinguish lack of awareness of energy movement and not doing a practice correctly? Have been doing Sat Kriya in mornings and it doesn't feel as bright as Celestial Qigong. Well, that's because it's different. That is an accurate experience. In case you're wondering, Celestial Qigong is the Qigong that I teach. Qigong.thunderwizard.com. Go check that out. Sat Kriya is something that is taught in Kundalini Yoga. It's a good thing to do when you wake up in the morning. It's helpful for getting the energy moving. It's helping to get people who have a hard time, getting motivated. It's good for that. It's also good if somebody wants to be celibate. If they do Sat Kriya like on a lot on a daily basis, they can stay celibate and really empowers you. They're two completely different energy practices. So it shouldn't feel as bright. It's not as bright. It's totally different. Nathan Keith question: what is your wisdom regarding having an Aruda Lagna in the 5th house with Mercury and Sun in Pisces? If it might help, this person also has Jupiter in retrograde in the 10th house. They have Mercury and Sun in Pisces. So let's see, Jupiter's in the 10th house, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Jupiter is not aspecting the 5th house, so it doesn't have a direct correlation. Again, if you're going to give me a house, give me the sign, because I want to know, 10th house in what sign. What is my wisdom regarding an Aruda Lagna in the 5th house with Mercury and Sun in Pisces? It means that they are seen as a very smart, because the 5th house is higher education. Pisces is deep spiritual wisdom. So they're seen as being very deep and smart, and the Sun empowers that, makes Mercury even brighter. So this person is seen as very bright, very talented, might even be a performer, a poet, a singer, but that's how they're seen. They're seen as this very bright, very intelligent, very artistic, expressive, perhaps spiritually very deep person. So Jupiter's in the 10th house, so that's why you're telling me that. So that doesn't help me because I don't know what, well, I guess I can figure it out. Pisces is in the 5th, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're talking Leo, right? We're talking Jupiter retrograde in Leo in the 10th house. So that makes them very intense. So that makes the Jupiter retrograde in Leo as a very strong thunder god kind of essence to it. So they're very intense as well. Okay, Reiki with Royce. Do me a favor, if you have a question, write the word question before you write down what your question is. Otherwise, I may miss it, because if we've got a lot of people on here, I just scroll through anything that doesn't say question on it, because I'm only interested in questions. Do you have any advice for connecting with the remaining moon phases for the year? I don't. Also, I'm in my 6th day of the Fehu manifestation. Congratulations. That is something that I've taught somewhere. I don't remember where I taught that. On the free channel somewhere, so you can go look for that. It's a powerful meditation. You're not the only person. I should have charged for that. A lot of people have said that they've done that, and it's been very helpful. So good luck with that. Zeralath question: how will the solstice affect a natal moon in a Ketu nakshatra mula? We've been talking about that from the beginning. I went on and on about that. But your moon is in a Ketu is in Mula, so your moon is in uh, Sagittarius. So your natal moon is going to be right where Ketu is now transiting over your natal moon right now. Then that's gonna, just know what K2 is. K2 takes you out of this awareness. So it's gonna make you feel spacey. It's gonna make you feel disconnected. It may make you feel like, nothing has any real awareness. It may give you a really deep shamanic, awareness of the emptiness of all things. So, that's your mind. So it's going to affect your mind a lot. So it's going to be important for you during this period to be meditating. Ketu loves mantra. So do your mantra meditation if you have it. Whatever it is you do, feel safe to double up on everything throughout this whole month. Really go after it. I've been thinking, for the past couple days, what I can do to really show myself and what I can really do to increase my commitment to my spiritual discipline. I still haven't come up with a definite answer on that yet, but we'll see. Supa, since day one, please write the word question. What are your thoughts on flat Earth? I've already talked about that, so go and watch my channel about that. One of the things that makes me happy is when people ask questions about things that I teach. So when you ask questions about things that I don't teach, it gives me the feeling that you're not paying attention to my channel, or you're new and you don't know what to ask. People who ask questions about things that I teach, they excite me, and I'll go deep into those kinds of things. If you just flying around and you see me and throw out some question about something I don't teach, I'm not going to take that as a very respectful question, not that you mean any disrespect, and I'm probably not going to answer that. So if you want to know my thoughts on flat Earth, go look it up in my videos, because I talk about it. Alekia Patya question. I couldn't explain in 200 words. I don't. If you have to take 200 words to explain it, you've got to charge me for my time. It can't be done here. I want to know that should I keep fighting for my goals, revolutionary goals, even if no one is supporting me, even if my desperation drives me crazy. There's so much wrapped up in that question. I already know that you're imbalanced, because the universe doesn't work like that. So I really strongly recommend that you watch all of my videos, especially the ones about finding your soul purpose and following your soul desire, and the Manifestation Mastery course. Because for you to feel that victimized because nobody is supporting you in your revolutionary fight, I already know something's off. I already know that you're wrapped up in your own ego, and that what you're really doing is you're fighting some psychological issue having to do with your mom and your dad. I already know it. I don't know anything about you, but I already know you got problems with your parents, whether you're aware of it or not. You strike me as a young person. I don't know if you are or not, but you're striking me as a teenager. It's the kind of stuff teenagers talk about. Nobody understands me. Now, if you're an adult and you have this, again, it tells me that there's something off. So, the universe doesn't function that way. You have been programmed by the universe to follow a path that will bring you joy and satisfaction and happiness. So if you feel unsupported and nobody wants to help you and you're fighting for your goals, I already know that you don't even know what it is that you want in life. And I'm not judging you, because most people are that way. It took me almost 50 years to figure out what it is that I truly wanted. And now I understand. The universe, and for this, go to neo.thunderwizard.com. Those 4 tools. Those will tell you everything you need to know. You especially. You need all 4 of those tools. Because once you understand how the universe works, and that the universe is designed, it is designed with a reward or punishment. It's not really a punishment. It feels like a punishment, but it's not. The universe thinks that you know that you're God. The universe sees you as God. The universe says, oh, look at that. Alekia. Alekia Patra has come down as an avatar. God is in human flesh. Let's give God the best fun experience in three-dimensional reality we can. Okay, God, what do you want? It's what the universe is doing every millisecond of the day. When you know that you're God and that your happiness is what the universe is here to do. Now, the universe already got a preview of what it is that you truly want. So it's like, before you incarnated, you sent off a command to the universe and you said, here are the things that I'm incarnating to experience, and these are the things I want, so get me those things. When I ask for them, when I become aware that those are the things that I want you to give them to me immediately. And the universe says, yes, sir. And it's sitting there, watching you and looking at the list, and okay, he hasn't acted towards that thing yet. He hasn't asked for it. He must not want it. So when you're out there fighting for your thing and nobody's supporting you, it's a clear sign that's not what you want. Because if you wanted it, the universe would be giving you everything that you needed when you needed it. That's why I know this is a psychological issue having to do with your parents. You're trying to get mommy and daddy's approval, mommy and daddy's attention. Nobody loves you. You're playing out whatever it is you didn't get as a little kid. I'm not judging you. This is how all people are. You're no different than anybody else. This is the reason we come here. We come here to learn through the illusion, to wake up to go, oh my God, that's such a crazy narcissistic garbage. Oh my God, what a waste of time. No, this is what I want. Took me 50 years to realize that what I wanted most was to go surfing. That's it. I also enjoy doing all of this spiritual work and talking on YouTube. I have fun doing it. It's something I do in my spare time. And you guys pay me to do it. I just got a bunch of orders for the distance healing. I just came up with the idea. That sounds like something fun. I'll do that. That gives me the finances to sit here and just blab on YouTube. I'm doing everything that I want. If you feel like you're a victim and everybody's chasing after you and not giving you, you are not doing what you want to do. Because the moment that you become aware of what you truly want to do and you go after it without any fear, without any victim mentality, the universe will start throwing money at you. If what you need is support, if you truly are this revolutionary, and you need people to back you up, if that is part of your true soul desire, the moment that you align with that, people will start popping up. So the fact that you're not getting what you want and you feel that nobody cares, I already know that you're not doing what you want. End of story. So go to neo.thunderwizard.com, figure that out. Same thing I said to somebody else I'm going to say to you, which is go to courses.thunderwizard.com, look for my books. Look for the book that says The Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. That's the most important lesson that, of all the stuff that I teach. All the stuff, how to become an immortal, how to raise your energy, how to do all this, there is nothing more important than what's in that book, how to become, the Shamanic Secret Commandment to a Perfect Life. If you can memorize that book and live that book, you'll never need anything. So let me tell you the two things. There are two main things that you came to experience in this world. The first one is to experience your greatest desire. Mine is to surf. I now live my life in such a way where I've decided that the most important thing for me to do is to travel around and live in different places where I can surf. I want to live on the beach, and I want to be able to walk out of my house and go surfing in warm, comfortable weather with palm trees and beautiful girls in bikinis, and I want to be able to also drive to the supermarket, and I want to have internet and all that. There's only so many places in the world you can do that. Australia is one of them. So I picked up and I moved there, and I'm going to be there again for another 15 months, guaranteed. I get to live there for another 15 months. And that's what I'm going to do. And then in my spare time, I'll come and I'll do this. It took me 50 years to figure out that's what I wanted. So that's the first thing, to do what it is that you really want to do. The second one is you have to learn the lesson of your own ego sabotage, which is what you experience as karma. When you grow up, the home that you grow up in, your mother, your father, your siblings, the school you go to, the church you go to, all these things are going to try and teach you something that will try and stop you from following your true desire. Now, for some people, it's going to be harder than others. For some people, it's just a minor thing. It's because they don't have a lot of karma attached to it. For some people, those of you who were born in really tragic, traumatic, dysfunctional homes with abuse and all that, it's because you keep fighting this same goal, and every time you go, you know what, I didn't get it. I got to make it harder on myself so I finally figure out what it is. I know, because I'm one of those people. I had an extremely toxic, abusive childhood. And now I realize that that was just there so that I would wake up to go, oh, this is what I really want. Screw everybody else. I'm going to do what I want. So Alekia, there's a really good chance that what you think you want to do is actually you've been programmed to think that way. Even though you think you're this revolutionary, it's probably not what you want. You're probably just reacting to what you've been programmed to do. And when you wake up and realize that's not what you want, you'll do what you truly want, and then you'll have to face the fear of being different. Because this is what happens, you know, especially teenagers. And Alekia, you sound like a teenager. Teenagers, you know, and I'm old enough to know now because I was one, and I look back on it and I remember my rebellious years, and all the people that I know that were super rebellious, you know, because we were just coming out of the hippie stage. The 70s is when I was in high school, late 70s, and the people that were the most hippie, the most counterculture, man, are now hardcore, born again, Christian fundamentalist. They are so far on the other direction. What happened is that they bumped into all of their childhood programming, and then they just flipped. And now they're everything that they were fighting against. And so, you know, when somebody is this revolutionary, it's telling me that what's really happening is that you're struggling against your own family issues. It has nothing to do with what your soul wants. Now, I don't know you. I could be totally wrong, but that's how you come across to me, Alekia. So the two things are, you have to know what your soul desire is, and then in order to follow your soul desire, you have to let go of the karmic programming that is trying to push you away from what you truly want. So what happens is, when you become aware of what your soul desire is, you will have a lot of resistance. And I run into this all the time. And I'm going to share a story. I've shared it before. I'll share it again. It's the most tragic story I'll ever tell. A woman came to me for a career consultation, and I do what I did. Career.thunderwizard.com, if you're not familiar with that. I spent about the first half to 2/3 of the session asking her a bunch of questions, finding out what it is she truly wanted. And what we came to realize, because she told me, I didn't tell her, she told me that what she really wanted was to be a dancer, and to dance in front of a large audience in an auditorium with a bunch of audio video stuff like music and slides in the background and lights and all that. And she was going to tell the story. I get chills every time I think about it. She was going to tell the story of somebody finding their deepest desires and then fulfilling them. And the whole point of it was to encourage people to follow their dreams. And when she told me in detail what it was, I was in tears, and I said, I want to come see that. How much does that cost? $100? I'll pay $100 to come see that. And I meant every word. And then she turned around and started telling me, yeah, but I'm too old. I don't speak English well. It's too late for me. You know what I really need to do is I really need to do search engine optimization and just make money on the internet, and then maybe I'll have the money. And I was so sad. I at the end I just gave up. I said I give up. Your resistance to your own happiness is too strong, and I can't fight it. I give up. You win. That was the only time that I've lost. We found out what she wanted to do, but I gave up, and I finally said I can't help you because she refused. She refused to take action on her true desires. And that's what you will have to face. When you find out what it is you truly want, depending on how much karma you have around it, you will have to face your resistance. And I'll tell you something, the resistance in my experience always comes down to trying to please your parents. Because on an unconscious level, if you've been told, like if you want to be a dancer and your parents told you you have to be whatever it is, you have to be a grocer. What's going to end up happening is that if you stop being a grocer and you go become a dancer and your parents reject you, you're going to feel like you're killing your parents, even if they're already dead. And this is where the resistance comes in. So, Alekia, I don't think you know what you truly want. Because if you do and you went after it, you might have some challenges emotionally, but the universe would throw money at you and throw you all of the support that you wanted. All right. Nathan Keith has dropped down $5. Thank you, sir. And he says, thank you, sir. And I say to him, thank you, sir. Koya Moon, question. I used a mantra you gave me and chanted for 40 days. My life completely changed for the better. Congratulations, I'm happy for you. If I do it again, do I need a new mala for each new mantra that I do? All right, so first off, perhaps I didn't tell you exactly how to work that. Forgive me if that's the case. But the mantra that I gave you is a mantra you can do for the rest of your life. So the way to do, and again, for those of you who don't know, you go to astrology.thunderwizard.com up there. Because one of the things I do is I give you a mantra based on your chart, specifically designed just for you. This is why people say when they get a mantra from me, it has a huge impact on them. It's because it's for that reason. I'm just not pulling mantras out of my back pocket. I have to look at your chart and find out exactly what planet and which form of the deity for that planet you need and this precise ritual, etc., etc. So that's something you can do for the rest of your life. And when you've done your 40-day ritual, after that, take a break. And then you can do one of two things. You can just start doing it every day, just like, brushing your teeth, without having to do a whole vow. Just do it, every other day or every day or whenever you feel like it. Then when you have something else and you want to work deeper, then you do another 40-day vow where you sit in front of your altar and I tell you which, what to place on your altar and which direction to face and what element to use and blah, blah, blah. And sit in front of your altar and say, I'm doing this 40-day ritual to you, whichever deity you're working with, so that you can give me, and you come up with something else. And then spend another 40 days and you have to go through that. So you can either just be doing it every day, like you would going to the gym or brushing your teeth. And then when you really want to do it again, make another 40-day vow. You can also do a 10-day vow or a 1-year vow. It's really up to you. But when you're doing it for a vow, it's for a specific reason, and you have to do it every single day. Otherwise, you might not get as much success out of it as you want. All right. You don't need a new mala. You want to keep the same mala. I've been using this same mala for years. When you can do, even if you do different mantras with it, just use the same mala. Let it build up in energy. Okay. Dan Shedden question: what are your thoughts on sun worship in ancient societies like Egypt? So Dan, new to my channel, I'll repeat myself. Please ask me questions about things that I teach. Do not ask me things about questions I don't teach. That gives me the feeling that you're either not watching my videos or you're new to my channel, which if you are, welcome. If you're not new to my channel, it gives me the impression that you're not interested in what I teach and you want to ask something else. I don't teach anything about Egypt, so I don't have anything to add about that. Okay? Watch more of my videos, find out what I teach, ask me about what I teach, and then I'll talk about it for who knows when. Okay? For all kinds of time. Reiki with Royce question. Your explanation of Ganesh, Freya, Oder were very informative. So I did, I think those are 2 separate videos. Do you plan to do more videos on specific deities? Yeah, all the time. Egyptian as well as Norse. I just got through saying I don't know anything about Egyptian. I don't talk about things I don't know. I do talk about Norse and Hindu deities, so it makes me want to ask you, have you watched my channel? I have no shortage of videos on Norse Hindu deities. But yes, when I'm stimulated to talk about different things that I'm familiar with, I will talk about them, including Norse and Hindu deities. Koya Moon question, rephrased in a clearer way. Can the same mantra beads be used for a lot of different mantra chants? Yes. Or should I have a different mala necklace for each different mantra I chant? It's up to you. Like I said, I use the same mala for whatever I'm doing. I guess if I really wanted to get serious about it, and I was working with Mars, I might get a red coral mantra mala, but I use the same one. So you have my permission to use the same one. Okay, that's it. No more questions. No more questions. What else do I want to say? I don't know that I do. I think I'm kind of running out of steam here. So we've been on for, how long have we been on? I don't even know. We've been on for 300 minutes? Is that what it says? No, an hour and 46 minutes. All right, so that's it. That's it for me. Again, if you're interested, we got 2 things going on this month. Astrology.thunderwizard.com. I'm giving half off my astrology teaching, my astrology readings for this month. Again, what people tend to do is they tend to wait till the end of the month. I don't know why. They wait until it's just about to run out, and then everybody, and then you have to wait a while. So get in there now, and you don't have to wait as long. And the cleansing, distance cleansing, energyhealing.thunderwizard.com, that is already, I just introduced it and it's already taking off. So get that. The earlier you get it, the quicker I will get to you. For those that have gotten one, I will get to you in the order that it has come in. And I will send you information which you can begin doing. I'll send you an hour meditation practice, which you can do with me when I do it. But you can do it on a daily basis. People have come back to me saying that they've done it and it's already begun the process. And that's kind of how this works. So the sooner you get it, the sooner I can get that to you and you can start getting revved up. And then finally, by the time that I get to you, which, shouldn't be too long, then you'll even have that much more head start. You don't have to if you're giving it for somebody else. You don't have to do that. They don't have to know anything. But there you go. Let's see, what else? All right, Koya Moon said some nice things. I appreciate that. Okay, so that's it for me. Again, if you're new to the channel, spend time binge watching the channel. The more you watch the channel, the more you'll understand what I teach, the better questions you can ask, the better answers you'll get from me. Okay, we got a last minute question here from Alekia. Question, how do I overcome intense desire to prove myself to someone? So somebody asked earlier, how do I control my feelings? If you didn't hear that, watch this from the beginning when I go off the air, because then you'll be able to watch it. You can't overcome your feelings or your desires. You can't. That is, you're doing violence to yourself every time you try and control or overcome your feelings. Your intense desire, I appreciate your honesty because I can feel that in all of your other questions. Your other thing that you have to do, the thing that you said about needing to revolutionary nobody's support, that's not coming from a place of wanting to help the world. You may think that's where you're coming from, but I guarantee you that's not it. That's coming from your own selfish need to be recognized and loved and accepted. That's what all of your anger is about. You want to be loved and accepted. That's what all of us want. We all want to be loved and accepted. Everything we do comes from that. I don't care if you're trying to achieve enlightenment. I don't care if you want to be Donald Trump. I don't care whatever it is you think you're doing. It's all coming from a desire to be loved, whether you realize it or not. So your need to prove yourself to other people is a very selfish. I'm not judging you. It is. It's coming from a very selfish place, a very, very childish, narcissistic place. And it's not going to give you anything that you think you want. Now, in terms of overcoming the desire, you can't overcome it. You just have to have it. Just feel it. This is the definition of enlightenment. Watch my videos on the Manifestation Mastery course. Go to thunderwizard.com and sign up for that. Sign up for the Manifestation Mastery course, especially you. It will help you a lot. That, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. But the bottom line is that, enlightenment. The true definition of enlightenment, and you won't hear this from anybody else, but I'm telling you from personal experience, having worked and trained with people who were enlightened, having investigated people who said they were enlightened, who claimed to be enlightened. True enlightenment is this: having all of your feelings, no matter how painful, no matter how unspiritual, having all of your feelings, accepting yourself with all of your feelings without feeling the need to change any of them. And no matter what it is you're feeling, whether it's murderous rage or suicidal angst or lust or selfishness or greed, whatever feeling you are having, no matter how uncomfortable it is, have the feeling, accept yourself with it, and then have the conscious awareness to take constructive action that helps both you and the rest of the world. That is the only enlightenment that matters. What you think enlightenment is, perhaps, a lot of people do, perhaps you do, they think when they can achieve this bliss where they no longer have any bad feelings whatsoever, and they're floating on this beautiful cloud of bliss, and then they can, all of their feelings will all be spiritual, and so they just do whatever they feel like. This is one of the biggest problems with modern spirituality. People think that they need to feel something, and if they feel good and happy all the time, then they're spiritual. But I can tell you from experience that there are people who look you with a smile on their face, and they do and say the most hurtful things because they're feeling happy and spiritual. And they have no clue how much damage they're doing to people. They have no clue. So the whole point of spirituality is to be able to know what is consciously constructive and what isn't, not how you feel. So you can't overcome your intense desire. You're going to have to live with it. You're probably going to have to get some counseling, because if you have an intense desire to prove yourself to someone, you've obviously got some emotional issues. You need help. I would find a counselor, a psychologist, a spiritual mentor. That's one of the things I do. You can become one of my apprentices. I will help you with that. I do it all the time. Then he says, I just want to stop caring about some people and everything would be much easier. No, it wouldn't. So you're just telling me if you could get rid of a feeling. Your desire to get rid of your feeling is suicidal. Did you know that? Every time you want to stop a feeling in yourself, that's a suicidal desire. That's why people do drugs. Why do you think they do that? They're trying to kill an emotion within them. Because if I can just get rid of the emotion, it'll all be okay. No, it won't. The emotion is coming from something. If you stuff the emotion, that thing that is driving the emotion is still going to be there. So you're not going to be able to get rid of that just because you think if I can stop caring about someone. That's why lovers kill their partner, by the way. People like, when people commit um, murders, murders of passion, they're trying to stop a feeling within them because if they think if that person stops existing, I won't feel my love or my anger towards them. But it doesn't. All that happens is you have the same feelings you had before, but the person that you love is gone now. And you have guilt on top of it. So you're wrong. Again, it sounds like you're a teenager. These are the kind of things that teenagers think. So if you're not a teenager, that really tells me you've got something going on. If you are a teenager, you might grow out of it. But you can't get rid of your feelings. You can't stop caring about somebody. You just have to focus on yourself and just live with your feelings. Get some counseling. Yes, you're 19. I finally got to it. You're 19. Yeah, you're still a kid. So at 19, I was feeling the same way about all kinds of different things. You still would be benefited by having a teacher or a mentor. It still would be beneficial for you. I recommend it. Okay, that's it. No more questions. I've babbled long enough. Again, links are here for a reason. And check out this. And that's it for me. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. I'm going to be going back to Australia in a couple of days. I won't have decent internet for I don't know how long. I could tell you all the mistakes that I've made moving where I'm moving, but I won't do that. So I don't know when I may do another live stream tomorrow, and then I may not be able to do any live streaming for a while. Okay? So anyway, anything comes up, you know where to reach me. Go watch the channel. All right, thanks. Talk to you guys later.